Hello, guys. I hope I find you well today. I hope you're keeping safe and you're washing your hands, you're practicing social distancing. So, today we come with another episode, a continuation of our last episode on celibacy. So, today we are going to talk about the benefits and disadvantages of going celibate. So, just a recap from our last episode where we talked about two important pillars when it comes to celibate, which is the religious perspective and the personal perspective. So today, the benefits and the disadvantages that we are going to talk about, they are going to be centered on these two pillars. So they're going to come from these two pillars that we talked about last time. So as we talked about the religious perspective, we quoted a verse from a letter that was written by Apostle Paul to the Church of Corinth. So the verse, it talked about a wife and a husband. It was in 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 5. It talked about a woman and a husband, a wife and husband rather, coming together in a concession that has a time frame, and they would be doing that to draw closer to God, and that Satan would not draw closer to them. So in that alone, going in that agreement as a wife and a husband, you have a motive that you have in the first place. You want to draw closer to God. So it only becomes a benefit when you uphold the principles and when you abide by the rules of your celibacy definition. So that is the first benefit of celibate. When you commit yourself, when you abide by the rules of celibacy, and when you commit yourself with your partner, you then get to yield yourself an uplifted spirit. You then get to know yourself again in Christ, because the purpose or the motive in the first place was to draw closer to God. The other benefit that we get besides the religious perspective, there are the benefits to do with the personal aspect of celibacy. So personally, when you get to live through the time frame that you would have defined for your celibacy and abide by the rules that you would have set, you get to reap some benefits. So personally, people might be motivated to go celibate because they would want to commit themselves to their work, to their careers, to their family and friends. So there are benefits which comes with that. So if you sail through to the last point of your celibate time frame, you get to have an improved lifestyle. You get to know your friends better. You get to spend time with your loved one. You get to know your family better, because we are saying that when one is into this commitment of being celibate, they are abstaining from sexual relations. So by doing so, you get to experience the outside of the sexual relations, a spectrum with your friend or with your partner that you wouldn't have experienced before the going into the celibacy state. So the second benefit is that you get to, it provides you with a space for you to get to know your partner outside of the sexual activity. That is the second benefit. Take it into this this dimension. You have your partner, right, and you are not engaging in sexual relations. So you then get to explore many things outside of the sexual relation. You then get to travel. You get to know your partner, what they like more, what they don't like. You also get to know the weaknesses, the strengths, and you get to explore many many avenues within your relationship or within your marriage. So it also comes as a benefit. Another benefit is that it also helps you understand the difference between physical and emotional attraction. So we're saying that we have taken away the sexual activity, we've taken away the sexual relations in a marriage or in a relationship, and now we are left with partly the physical attraction and largely the emotional attraction. So by doing so, it helps you to draw a line between the physical context and the emotional side of attractions. Another benefit that it also gives you is that it gives you more time to focus on your friendships and your family and your career as well. So we've talked about this one earlier. So what happens here is that in case you want to further your studies, you want to focus on your dreams, you want to explore more about yourself, and it gives you more time to look into yourself, it gives you more time to understand yourself, it gives you more time to focus in your career, it gives more time also to focus in your work and evaluate yourself in all those regards. One of the benefits that we might have left is that there is very little or no risk of contracting STIs because you are not engaging in penetrative sex. So there is that certainty that you are not going to contract STIs through sexual intercourse, and there's also little or no risk of getting unintended pregnancy or unwanted pregnancy because you're not getting into the sexual activity. So I think we've talked much about benefits here, and there's quite a number of them that exist, and there's quite a number of them that people might think of, and they also count in helping you out reap the benefits or reap the benefits of going celibate. So we're also going to look at the downside or the disadvantages of celibate state. So the disadvantage of going celibate is that one might feel isolated, as one may think that the people are judging them. So one of the greatest things that people are afraid of, and by people I mean everyone, you might have passed through the stage where you're afraid of what the next person thinks about you, or what your brother, your sister, or even your partner thinks about you. So it creates a cloud where you feel like you're being isolated, or people are judging you because of your commitment or because of your actions. So this usually happens in relationships where we have two people that are in this commitment, and the other person is not trusting the next person, or the next person is not also trusting the other person. So it brings a shadow, it brings a cloud above the relationship where the next person is not trusting the next person, where they might think that the other person is getting it somewhere. So it creates a room where people get to judge each other if in the first place the commitment wasn't voluntarily taken. If the commitment was voluntarily taken, I would believe that you would go through the phase together, through the period that you'd have set for yourselves together. But if it's not so, then it poses as a problem where the other person might be judging the other person. Then it doesn't really become a commitment. It now becomes something that you've been forced to do. So it poses as a downside or as a disadvantage to the whole commitment or to the whole practice of celibacy. The other downside of celibacy is that it all comes from people not abiding by their rules, or people not observing all the rules and the considerations in the decision to go celibacy. So the other downside is that the other person or both of you might feel that you are missing out on life experiences, you're missing out on making children, you're missing out on family. So that way, this works in a relationship setup where you decide to go celibate, let's say for an extended time of 2 years or 3 years or a year. So that way it gives you a certain feeling of lagging behind in terms of life, because in that 2 years time you're not having kids, you're not going to do certain activities within your marriage. So it might appear as if one is lagging behind or the whole union is lagging behind. So it becomes a challenge in that the other person might feel inferior in the community or even within the relationship. So there are many downsides that come with celibacy, and we have talked about 2 here. These are the ones that I thought might matter within the confines of our subject, and also the benefits that I talked about. So I hope we get to have an understanding of the benefits and the disadvantages. So from our discussion or from my presentation, I think the benefit side, it outweighs the disadvantages side, though it has pretty solid conditions that it comes with. That one has to be faithful, you have to abide to the rules, and you have to respect the principles that you have set for yourselves together.
Thank you for listening up until this far. I hope you found this podcast useful. I'm not saying that you should consider being a celibate, but I want you to understand what it is all about. And I also want you to understand your better half when someday you find yourself dating someone who is a celibate. But all I can say is that you need to ask them why they are celibates and for how long are they going to be celibates, to avoid confusion and arguments in relationships, okay? And after you've heard their responses, you have to weigh if you can keep up to the standard and see if you can still be in that relationship. Thank you. Bye.